All right, let's talk about a number that's making a lot of people in the tech world very, very nervous. 95%. That's the supposed failure rate for AI projects. So the big question is this whole AI revolution already over before it really began? Let's get into it.
But hey, before we dive deep, if you're into AI insights that actually make sense, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe right down below. It seriously helps. Okay, so that number, 95%. You heard me right. A recent MIT report dropped this bombshell, saying that a staggering 95% of companies are getting zero, and I mean zero return from their AI projects. That's not just a bad statistic. That's a full-blown crisis of expectations.
So naturally, when you see a number that big, you gotta ask, is this whole AI thing just a bust, a massive, expensive flop? Well, hold on. The real story is it usually is a little more complicated than that.
To really get what's going on here, we need to talk about something called the hype cycle. It's a predictable roller coaster that every major technology goes on. And right now, AI is strapped in for the ride.
See, every big tech breakthrough eventually hits this phase. It's called the Trough of Disillusionment. Basically, it's that moment when the initial wow factor wears off, and the hard, messy reality of actually making the tech work kicks in. Sounding pretty familiar, right?
And this is where things get really interesting. That 95% number for AI, it sounds completely insane. But check this out. It's kind of normal. Yeah, really. When you look at other huge, complex IT projects, their failure rates are just as high, sometimes even higher. We're talking up to 98%. So AI isn't some special case. It's just facing the same massive hurdles any big new technology does.
Now that doesn't mean it's easy. In fact, AI projects are especially tough. I mean, think about it. The models we're all so excited about are basically toddlers. They're less than 2 years old. There is no instruction manual, no playbook. We're all figuring this out in real time, basically building the plane while it's in the air.
All right, so let's get specific. Where are these projects actually going off the rails? Let's break down the 3 big project killers that are causing so many of them to stall.
First up, we've got pilot paralysis. This one is a classic. A brilliant team builds a killer prototype. It looks amazing in the demo. Everyone's high-fiving. But it's stuck in a sandbox. There's no bridge to the real world, no path to get it plugged into the messy, complicated systems the business actually runs on. So that amazing pilot, it just sits there, going nowhere.
Next up, something I call model fetishism. This is where the tech teams get completely obsessed with perfecting the model itself. They're chasing that extra 0.01% of accuracy, tweaking the algorithm endlessly, all while completely ignoring the boring but absolutely essential work of making it useful for the business. A perfect model that nobody can actually use is, well, pretty useless.
And the third killer? Disconnected tribes. This is an organizational nightmare. You have the product people over here, the data scientists over there, and the legal team in a completely different building. They're not speaking the same language, they don't have the same goals, and they're not on the same timeline. The project just gets torn apart by internal friction before it even has a chance.
Okay, enough doom and gloom. Let's talk about the 5%, the ones who are actually winning with AI. This isn't about luck, it's about a playbook. There are 4 clear patterns to their success. So let's dive into those.
So here they are, the 4 keys to success. 1. Solve a real, painful business problem. 2. Fix your data plumbing first. 3. Design for humans and AI to work together. And 4. Treat the whole thing like a living product that you have to keep improving.
Let's really drill down on that first one, because honestly, if you get this wrong, nothing else matters. The winning projects don't start with some cool new AI tech and then go looking for a problem to solve. Instead, they start by identifying a genuine, painful, expensive business problem that needs fixing.
Let me give you a perfect example. Lumen. Their sales team had this huge pain point. For every single sales call they made, they had to spend 4 hours just doing background research on the customer. That's not a technology problem. That's a we're burning time and money problem. So what did they do? They built an AI copilot to automate all that research. And the result? They gave 4 hours back to every single salesperson every single week. That's half a day of productivity per person. That is a massive, real, measurable win. And here's another great one for you. Air India. They had a classic scaling problem. More passengers meant more questions, and they just could not hire customer service agents fast enough to keep up.
Their growth was literally being choked by this bottleneck. So they brought in an AI-powered assistant. The result is just staggering. It now handles 97% of their customer queries automatically. We're talking millions and millions of inquiries. They didn't just fix their problem, they totally transformed their entire customer service operation.
Okay, so let's pull back and look at the big picture for a second. With all this crazy hype, all this money flying around, and yeah, all these failures, we have to ask the big question. Are we in an AI boom, or are we living in an AI bubble?
You know, there's that old saying that history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. And wow, the similarities between today's AI excitement and the dot-com bubble of the late 90s, they are just too loud to ignore.
Just look at this. Back in the dot-com era, a tiny handful of stocks, the top 10, were responsible for almost 70% of the entire market's growth. Well, today, with AI, it is happening all over again. Over 60% of the market return is coming from just a few giants. It's a classic sign of a hype-driven market.
And the companies at the top? It's like déjà vu. Back in 2000, we had the 4 horsemen of tech. Today, we've got the Magnificent 7. It's the exact same pattern. A small club of mega companies becomes the face of the entire revolution.
But here is the sobering history lesson. Of those original 4 horsemen, the undisputed titans of their day, only one of them, Microsoft, actually managed to outperform the average market over the last 25 years. Just one. It's a huge reminder that being the star of the show during the hype does not guarantee you'll be on top when the dust settles.
So what does this all mean? Well, it means this high failure rate, it's just part of the process. It's the messy, difficult birth of a new technological era. The real question we should be asking isn't if AI is going to change the world. It is. The question is, which of today's giants will actually survive the hype and be the ones to deliver real, lasting value for years to come? Something to think about. Thanks for watching.